And then what he did with the bat. He was supposed to bring this game home. Then David just tapped me on the shoulder and said, please, you go ahead. And the first thing that regurgitated was what I said to that gentleman at the meeting. Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name. And really that's how it played out.
So Anshuman, what is your first thought or your first memory of commentary, cricket commentary?
First memory of cricket commentary, this would go quite far back. I remember I used to listen to the commentary on radio when India was touring West Indies. This must have been like 1976, 77.
Wow. And
my dad had a habit of waking up early in the morning to listen to the commentary. And that would be a cue for me to wake up also. So we used to have a nice father and son moment those days.
Right.
Of course, I don't remember the commentary. Remember some names, incidentally, personal stories, name Anshuman.
Oh, yeah, correct.
That's when I probably heard it first.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my first recollections were again on radio, little bit on radio, I think, and then mostly on television, but Doordarshan television times. And in those days in Bombay, they used to show the Ranji Trophy matches, which were mainly covered in Marathi.
Yeah.
So they were not done in Hindi or in English. And that's the first time I learned some very interesting Marathi words. Like, for example, a batsman is called Falandaz, a bowler is called Golandaz, a wicketkeeper is called Yashti Rakshak. And if you were bowled out, if your stumps were broken by the ball, you were called to be Trifalachit.
What?
So, Trifalachit, like Trifalachit, the three sticks.
Okay.
So I actually started with those words in my zehen, as they say, before I even heard proper Hindi commentary. Yeah. But of course, later on, there was Pradun Divitre on Bombay television. There was Dr. Narottam Puri, I'm sure you remember him. So those were the initial voices that I heard on radio and TV. And my first real commentary gyan.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think that at that point of time, anyone who could speak the language fluently and had a bit of knowledge about the game was the commentator. Fast forward today, it's essentially ex-cricketers who are commentators. Previously, an ex-commentator would appear as an expert.
Yeah.
So Lala Warnock would be there in the capacity of an expert commentator, or a Salim Durrani for that matter. You mentioned Dr. Narottam Puri. Of course, there was incidentally, Dr. Narottam Puri, his father was also a commentator.
Oh, wow.
Nice. How interesting is that,
Very interesting.
So, I think his name was Dr. Devraj Puri, and he used to be the master of ceremonies at various public functions and all, and went on to be a voice on Air India Radio. So, the son took off from the father, and, kind of got an introduction into the profession.
Right. But I'm assuming that both of us would have had the shared experience of probably listening to cricket commentary from abroad when Channel 9 started showing their games in India, right? Which was the mid-80s. And that's when we were first introduced to voices like Richie Benaud, Bill Lawry, for example. Tony Gregg, exactly. And that those were the days when you would get up early in the morning to watch a game, and you had Daddles Deduct and colored clothing, and watching people like Qasim Omar getting bowled by Kapil Dev. So interesting days. Did you hear John Arlott and all these voices ever? I mean, in reality, or were they much before our time, I think, right?
I think John Arlott was much before our time. Bill Lawry, we would have heard definitely. John Arlott, I don't recall.
Yeah, I've heard snippets of him on YouTube from older videos. But obviously, I think he had probably gone long before we started even watching cricket. But yeah, I think probably the radio times were the best times for commentary because, you didn't have visuals.
Yeah.
So the commentator's voice would really bring the entire atmosphere to you. And I think that's when the real commentary was done, right? Because you got to bring the entire summa of the match down to that person listening. And somebody's got a transistor stuck to their ear and literally hanging on to every time Gavaskar scored a century or
Absolutely.
a wicket or whatever. Yeah. Who are your initial commentators who you like listening to, and why?
Dr. Narottam Puri, because he had this knack of painting a picture. He was also quite insightful. There were some commentators who were quite funny. I forget who it was. I'm not sure if it was Sushil Doshi, who would struggle to say "j." So Benjamin.
No, that was a commentator called Mr. Oza, I remember.
Oh yeah, Mr. Oza. That's right.
I forget his first name, the gentleman's first name, but he was always the Winston Benjamin.
Yeah.
Which was worrisome because he was Oza, so I don't know how he pronounced his own name.
Yeah,
we call it Oza, this was Oza, but okay, fair enough. Yeah, Sushil Doshi, now that you mentioned, the funniest incident I heard with Sushil, so this is in the mid-90s, early 90s, right? And Doordarshan did not have cricketers as commentators in those days. So you would have Narottam Puri doing some part of it, you would have Fredun Devitri doing some part of it, and then the Hindi commentary would come on, you would probably have Maninder Singh to a certain extent after he retired, and Sushil Doshi used to be a fixture at these games, right?
Yeah.
So there was this very interesting series where India had brown-washed England 3-0, I think it was 1993, right? The first time the term brown-wash had come. And India had this quartet of three spinners, I think Venkatpati Raju, Rajesh Chauhan, and who was the third? No, there was one. I forgot.
Hirwani.
No, much after Hirwani. There were three others. But the interesting part is England had a wicketkeeper called Richard Blakey.
I remember.
It was the only series that Blakey had played, and he pretty much was a disaster series for him. He used to get out every second ball, hardly could read his own spinners. So the first time Blakey came on to bat, Sushil Doshi was there, and suddenly out of nowhere he goes, "नाम तो इनका Blakey है, लेकिन वास्तव में तो बहुत गोरे चिकने हैं." So it took me 2 seconds to realize, बोला क्या ये बंदा? Why is he saying गोरा चिकना Blakey? Then I realized, oh, Blackie, fucking hell. So that was Sushil Doshi, right?
He had another.
Sorry, I'll just say one more thing. And at one particular point, somebody corrected him and he said that it's Blackie. It's Blakey. So he says, तो क्या हुआ? किरण मोरे को भी मोर बोलते हैं ना?
सही बात है,
he gave it back in the correct coin. Yeah? So
that if you pronounce our names wrong, we are equally good. Wrong. He used to have another Takya Kalam, catchphrase, which would be at the start of all commentaries, Shastri, that went like a tracer bullet, so on and so forth. So his Takya Kalam was स्टेडियम नई नवेली दुल्हन की तरह सजा हुआ है.
Yeah. This was generally at the pitch report. But yeah, so from all the commentators that you've heard, who are your top three and why?
We spoke about Richie Benaud.
Yeah.
That's the first voice which, truly stood out. And you spoke about, the Benson and Hedges series, which was perhaps the first over series that we got to see, which was presented like cricket needs to be presented. So it was like a jaw-dropping moment for all of us. And in all of this, there was Richie Benaud. You'd heard about Richie Benaud because ex-Australia captain, at one point of time, he was the first to get to 2,000 runs and take 200 wickets. He was supposed to be a captain of some repute, considered to be amongst the finest Australia ever had. So, as far as source credibility is concerned, he was absolutely up there. And then, he would be turned out in a characteristic way, his hair neatly parted at the side, falling over his ears, wearing that cream jacket. He looked exceptionally statesman-like. And his grasp the language as such. Now, of course, let's fast forward a few years as such. And I just realized this recently. Let's take, for example, the ball of the century. Shane Warne to Mike Gatting. Like, you remember you've seen that video so many times, you remember the ball, how it comes out of the hand. Very few paid attention to the commentary which was going on at the back. Like it was Richie Benaud. And I won't paraphrase here, I would urge everyone to go and find that clip on YouTube. Or perhaps we can insert that.
We'll put that clip in right after you mention this. Yeah.
And Benaud was a leg spinner, the best there was during his point of time. He spent most of his life either playing or commentating.
Yeah.
And you've seen this moment, which is perhaps the highlight of cricket that you've seen till now. And still you should see how Benaud presents himself. There is no hyperbole. He's not jumping out of his seat. He's circumspect, very, 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 measured in what he says,
right.
And still delivers it so perfectly.
Fantastic. For all you know, he might have been as flabbergasted as Gatting was. So.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah, Benaud was amazing.
Test cricket in England for Shane Warne. And he's done it. He started off with the most beautiful delivery. Gatting has absolutely no idea what has happened to it. He still doesn't know. He asked Kenny Palmer on the way out. Kenny Palmer just gave him a raised eyebrow and a little nod. That's all it needed.
Who's the second commentator for you?
Shanti, there were quite a few, but then Richie Benaud, we just spoke about. Next, I'd like to talk about Harsha. I'm jumping quite a few genres here, but Harsha is the guy who... Harsha is the Amitabh Bachchan of commentators. Yeah. Absolute outsider. By the time Harsha was coming in, the norm of ex-cricketers as commentators was kind of established. So apart from the viewers judging, why is it that you're commentating and being an expert, there must have been the same discrimination that he might have faced in the commentary box also. One very well-known of situation is the spat that Sanjay Manjrekar had with him. Sanjay, of course, he doesn't hold back at all. He speaks his mind a bit too often, maybe. And despite all of that, Harsha is considered to be the senior statesman of commentators at this point of time. In fact, there was a podcast by the great cricketer in which they had interviewed Harsha, which made me think again that why is it that why are these guys seeking out Harsha? And two Australians who consider Harsha to be a benchmark of commentary. Now that is saying something.
Find ourselves with a scarcely believable opportunity to speak with an ornament of the game, and today's one of those. So,
Ray, I'm looking around. Someone on the St. Joseph's Cricket Club.
Another testimonial to Harsha is maybe this was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there was a reality TV contest called Harsha Ki Khoj.
Oh yeah, wow! Huh? I didn't remember. It's good to remember that. Wow.
That is speaking volumes about a person, and the fact that he was ex-advertising, one feels a sense of kinship with him also.
True.
So Harsha, definitely.
Right. And any third name?
Ian Bishop, of late, I've started respecting a lot, simply because of the amount of research that he does. And he's also not one for hyperbole. He's not jumping out of his chair. Perhaps the only catchphrase that he would have thrown in commentary would be Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name.
Yeah, which is now ingrained in some golden letters somewhere. So
exactly. I don't know if that was... could it have been thought of in advance? Not Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name, but say XYZ, remember the name.
Possible, but I think just going by that game where, nobody expected him to hit 4 sixes of Stokes, right?
Yeah.
It was the last over and he hit 4 sixes of 4 balls to win the game. I think it by the sound of it, when I heard it, when I was watching that game live as well on TV, it just came across as very spontaneous and effusive.
True.
I think he couldn't believe the fact that somebody like Brathwaite had done that, right? So
Yeah.
So but yeah, he's researched a lot.
Yeah. In fact, like, same subject. If I ever meet Vivek Razdan, I'd like to ask him about Toota Hai Gaba Ka Ghamand. Like, it's kind of difficult to fathom that, like, how can someone come up with that statement on the spur?
Oh, the moment. Yeah, true. But then I think that's what commentary is, right? A lot of the current commentators do a lot of research. They obviously have their notes ready, but then they also have to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
And I think cricket at one time was just a one commentator's voice, right?
Yeah.
Today you have 3, sometimes 4 in the same box together.
True. Yeah.
So they also have to play off each other, the energies of each other, and do all that. I'll keep my list very short and quick. Obviously, I would have had the same 3 as you, Bhogle for sure, Bishop for sure, and definitely Mr. Benaud. I'll add 3 names to this, and I'm doing it simply for the 3 reasons I watch cricket. One of the reasons I watch cricket is to get entertained. And for me, the most entertaining commentator was Henry Blofeld in Sharjah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the way he would talk about women and earrings and pigeons and everything else but the cricket.
Everyone has said to me, what should I do as a last word? I've got no last word because handing over to the next commentator has always been an adventure for me. As Chase bowls again, though, it's a lovely looking drive and it's gone through for 4 runs. That really was a pearler of a stroke to end. If that was the last shot I described, it was a pretty good one. Wesley driving Chase through the covers for 4.
Right? So,
in the same vein, I also quite enjoy Skull. Kerry O'Keefe.
Yes, absolutely. Kerry O'Keefe is also very fun. And he's got that dry Australian humor to him as well.
Yeah. And like the best thing about him is that, like he cracks a joke. The joke would be on himself, and he would laugh. His characteristic laugh,
Yeah. He's got a good sense of humor, and he knows how to take a joke on himself, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So entertainment would be Blofeld. In terms of the knowledge of the game, and in terms of sheerly talking about not just cricket but also what happens outside of cricket, Michael Holding. I think Holding, not just an amazing voice, apart from the fact that he was one of the most brilliant fast bowlers of all time, I think he had a very, very clear conscience as a commentator.
Well, Mike, you better answer your own question. How far was that?
Ridiculously far. It just doesn't look good. Somebody sent in an email earlier on to say that Mohammed Amir hadn't bowled a no ball his entire test career before this game. I don't know if that's correct.
First class career, I think, before this game, but yeah.
I don't know if it is correct.
For the series.
That is...
I think he did bowl some at Edgbaston. Carry on, sorry.
It just doesn't look good. I know, and he went over by a distance. It was not just a small no ball, and we haven't seen that from him before.
He would speak about issues that did not, most commentators wouldn't speak about.
Yeah.
So almost like a Sangakkara is today, right? I mean, in terms of being that sort of moral, upright cricketer. Holding was really the voice of conscience about, things that were going wrong in cricket, rules of cricket, for example, especially rules that were bent towards batsmen. Right, he hated the fact that bouncer rules had to be controlled, etc. So Holding definitely for his width of knowledge as well. And the third name is a surprising name, but I would like to put that on board. I really enjoy his commentary. I think he's not just fun and funny, but he's also extremely knowledgeable. Dinesh Karthik. I really think Karthik is a very underrated commentator.
Then I genuinely thought Pakistan, purely because they've played consistently in Colombo, stayed in one hotel, know the same pitches, and both you Fossil said that's one of the main reasons why India did so well in Champions Trophy. By that same accord, they should have done something in this World Cup, but clearly it works for one team, it doesn't. So there's a genuine lack of skill there. And
he's getting into his own now. You can make out, he probably doesn't have the same articulate skills maybe as the other commentators. He's a little more heartfelt. But his knowledge of the game is amazing. I think his knowledge of
style, right?
Sorry?
That's a style.
Yeah,
Like, everyone comes with their own, you have to insert your own personality, or rather your personality gets inserted.
Absolutely.
When you're commentating cooking.
Also, probably the most dapper, well-dressed commentator of all time.
I know,
He was well turned out. And, in fact, in that second test which happened, which New Zealand won, he did a wicket-keeping show in the middle of one of the days, I remember. And even that, right, doing something like that, he was extremely articulate. Shows a lot about how he reads the game, bowlers, batting, tactics, captaincy. So I mean, he's a good new voice in the box, as they say. Those would be my three, of course. But I mean, hats off always to somebody like Richie Benaud or Harsha Bhogle, or those guys are the brand names, right, for commentary. Do you think Harsha Bhogle is probably the last of his kind, which is somebody who is a non-cricket? I wouldn't call him an expert, but a non-cricket player in that sense. He's played a little bit of cricket. But today you see 99% of all commentators are ex-cricketers, right? Apart from maybe a few on the women's side, like, a couple of them. But do you see a time where independent voice would, someone like Harsha who was independent, would make it to commentary, or you think cricketers are the way to go with commentary?
No, the entire cricket broadcasting space has changed so much that, I will see lots of different sorts of people coming and commentating. In fact, I won't be surprised if the chaps from Great Cricketer go on to become commentators. The chefmates are called on live TV to do some segment because they're entertaining as hell. Or Jared Kimber comes on as an expert. These guys, they have a point of view in cricket. They're articulate. They bring something which no one else does.
Which is actually a really interesting thing you brought out, that you don't look. So there's live commentary, which is one part of the whole exercise, but then there is in between and post live commentary, which is more YouTube led, right? Where people are dissecting and analyzing and post-morteming the game, which actually a lot of people really enjoy. Like Jared Kimber's Good Areas, for example, is a fantastic way at how a good mind looks at cricket after it is done, right? And then sort of looks at trends, looks at ways of connecting stories there. And YouTube is full of that. I mean, we also, in a certain way, are commentators on the game in that sense. So to end this, what's your all-time favorite piece of commentary from anywhere in the world, any format? Like something which has really stuck with you for ages. You may have heard it or you may have read of it. It's not necessarily that you would have heard it live.
Again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember this word to word. But there was an instance of a streaker coming onto the field, and Richie Benaud was commenting. And again, I would urge people to just dig out this video and watch it because it's so bloody hilarious as such. And the streaker runs straight at Andrew Simons, who shoulder butts him. The streaker does a somersault and falls. And Richie Benaud says words to the effect of, "So, is that a boy or a girl?"
Because when you say headbutted him, I was already wondering, male sticker, female sticker.
The other, this was a WTF moment for me as such. My jaw kind of dropped. Was the stupid of Gavaskar.
Oh, of course. Wow. Yeah.
If anyone has the right to say it, Gavaskar has the right to say it. He is the elder statesman of the game as such. And if something pisses him off, he should not hold back in, expressing his feelings. But then, I was kind of shell-shocked for a minute. And I genuinely thought that, hey, did he really say that? Is that crossing a line?
No, absolutely. I think you're so right. I mean, it was such a, and I think the way he said it, right? And of course the moment with Rishabh Pant, where obviously it was, he got out playing one of those ridiculous shots of his. So, So.
Stupid. You put 2 meters there and you still move, but then you miss the previous shot. And look where you've been caught. You've been caught as deep third man.
For me, I
think the other one which comes to mind. The other one which comes to mind is the barest of margins. The way Ian Smith delivered it, and New Zealander watching New Zealand play in the final, and for the final to turn out the way it did to go into a super over and then England winning because of bloody boundary count of all the reasons. His delivery of that moment was absolutely.
One of those days when I really felt sorry for New Zealand. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I think the obviously the one I've heard which always sticks with me is Bishop screaming, "Remember the name." I think it's such a beautiful moment, right? That way, Stokes, the final, and then that. But the funniest one I've heard is obviously the one which happened with Brian Johnston, where he said something to the effect of, "There's Neil Harvey standing at leg slip with his legs wide apart. He's waiting for a tickle," and then he said, "After that, immediately the bowler's holding the batsman's willy." Right? So obviously he did not mean it the way he meant it, but the bowler's holding batsman's willy is a big modern cricket. It's one of the best lines ever.
Was the one I didn't know that I did, and I still am not sure whether I did or not. And that was after the 1976 match against the West Indies, the Oval, when a lady wrote to me and said, "Mr. Johnson, we do enjoy your commentaries, but you must be more careful. We have a lot of young people listening. Do you realise what happened the other day?" And we came over the Oval, there was Michael Holding bowling to Peter Willey, who said, "Welcome to the Oval, where the bowler's holding the batsman's willy."
Yeah, so on that note, I think we have had a fabulous session of commentary and comments on commentary. We look forward to hearing your comments about what you like about commentary, what you feel are the best commentators you heard. So give us a shout in the comments below. And we'll come back to you with another episode of Bhai Waugh very soon. So subscribe. And Anshuman, what else should they do here?
Back on the straight bat.
Back to the straight bat. Or hit it like a tracer bullet, whatever. All right, Anshuman, thank you so much. We catch soon again on another episode.
Adios, my man.